So for food security, I picked wild spring greens in general. So especially ones that carpet the ground, take over as ground covers, like chickweed, as we mentioned. When I first moved to my botanical sanctuary in Sandy Mush, my neighbor was like, "Oh, you're an herbalist, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, how can I get rid of the chickweed in my garden?" And I was like, "Well, you could eat it." And she's like, "No, really, how do I get rid of the chickweed in my garden?" And I'm like, "No, really, you eat it." So these are herbs like purple dead nettle is another one that just carpets the whole garden. Spring mustard greens and lamium. Yeah, lamium is purple dead nettle. Mustard greens, wild mustards, and Chenopodium album, lamb's quarters. So lamb's quarters is ones that people weed out of their garden. It's in the same family as spinach to plant their spinach, and it's got more calcium, magnesium, iron than spinach. So it's like, why are we wasting all this, time, energy, money to buy seeds with something that's already there, more nutritious, more tenacious. So wild spring greens in general, daylilies specifically. So daylilies are, not native, but they become naturalized and take over, and you get big stands of daylilies. And most people know them as a pretty flower, but they are medicinal and edible, and all parts are edible. So the flowers are edible. You can stuff them with goat cheese or pesto or whatever you want to stuff them with. You can dry them and make tea out of them. They're demulcent. They're high in vitamins. In China, they dry them and the buds as well. You can tempura batter the buds and fry them. You can pickle the buds, the flower buds. So they dry the petals, and it's called golden needles in China, and they use it to thicken soups and broths and sauces. So you can dry them and use them over the winter, or use them fresh, or pickle them and preserve them that way. The young shoots, the young greens, are edible as a spring vegetable, so you can steam them or eat them raw, and they're delicious and super prolific. And then the roots are also edible, cooked like potatoes, and that's a good starchy tuber. And, if you have a stand of them, you won't get rid of them unless you really, really want to. And they're just going to keep spreading, and you're going to have more and more food and medicine from the daylilies. And then my third one is sort of cheating. So in Chinese medicine, anything from nature that's used in healing is considered an herb. So they use flying squirrel dung, dragon bone, gems and minerals, right? So I'm choosing egg as my third herb for food security. So eggs are used medicinally in herbalism. There's a alchemist preparation called oil of egg that's used for the skin, for burns, for hair, teeth, nail growth. It's also used internally for joint pain. Egg has glucosamine in it, tons of calcium, silica in it. So it's also the oil of egg in the alchemical preparation is also used for the heart and cholesterol, actually. So it's used topically and internally as a medicine. And then eggs are just, this prolific, excellent, healthy protein source for people. And then the eggs make chickens as well. So that is just such a sustainable food source. If you're growing your own eggs, or somebody in your community is, and you're supporting that poultry farmer. And then the eggshells can be used in the garden. The eggshells can be used on your pets. The eggshells can be taken internally. Eggshells are a whole nother herbal preparation. So there's just gazillions of uses for eggs. Yeah.